Hi, and welcome to Conversations and Cocktails. Today's guest is Cindy Hennessey, and Cindy is a stand-up comic. She just doesn't know it yet. So I want you to really, truly enjoy all that she has to offer and hear her stories about teeth, boring attorneys, the phone company, and follow her because she is funny. And if you want to know about more women doing more amazing things and having fun with their lives, follow me. Ciao. Hi, and welcome to Conversations and Cocktails. Today's guest is Cindy Hennessey, and Cindy is an attorney for our phone company. She is also co-founder, owner of Osteo Strong on Mercer Island, and she is also, according to Cindy, me, not her, a budding stand-up comedian because I love watching her stuff on social media. Fucking hilarious. Just my opinion. So, yes, of course.
That's high praise.
I love it. Oh my God, make me smile and laugh and be happy, and we both love popcorn, and I drove off with my gas, plugged in one. I mean, it happens. Things happen.
But you have all your teeth.
You know, things happen. I went with you shopping when you had to get all new makeup one time.
Oh,
that was a good story.
Oh, right. Yes. Because I ended up with a staph infection on my face from a Mexican massage on the beach.
Right.
And I ended up going home looking like a heroin addict with, like, on the plane, oozing. This is not the direction you wanted this to go. I know, but
this is awesome. Okay, so let's, Mexico, let's go there. So normally when I'm interviewing people, I talk about their passion, and a lot of people go into business in regards to their passion.
Right.
So your passion is travel, and your educational background and your corporate position allow you to do your passion, which is travel. Yep. So being an attorney for the phone company, it turns out, is not your passion.
So not my passion.
So not your passion.
I'm really good at it, but it is so not my passion.
So not your passion.
Yeah.
So when you went to law school, did you say, I'm going to be a traveling attorney? I mean, how you love, I want to hear about travel mostly. Mm-hmm. And I also, though, want to know, like, when you started law school, my guess is that you weren't expecting someday to be sitting here going, yeah, being an attorney for the phone company is not my passion. So from start to finish, something has switched.
Well, I certainly didn't go to law school thinking I wanted to work at the phone company. You know, life happens and you end up in places for a lot longer than you expected. I thought I would be doing something to help people, mm-hmm. and I do a lot of pro bono work and equal justice work that's really important to me because I think so many people don't have access to legal services and they need it. But at the same time, I ended up at the phone company because I thought I was going to be running their philanthropy program.
Oh, which would be helping a lot of people.
And I ended up having so much fun being the lawyer that I stayed being a lawyer, but I just stayed too long, which is something that happens. And also being over 50, you start to realize that 50 is a cliff in a lot of ways, but also a jumping pad to do something different. And so professionally at the phone company, my career is over. I'm too old to be promoted. I don't want to move. You know, I don't fit the mold, thankfully. And so I find myself really thinking about what it is I want to do with the rest of my time on the earth.
I would like you to be a stand-up comic, but I think we've already talked about that because I think she's funny as hell. I mean, that's what I want, but I know I don't always get what I want. But okay, so I find this is something this is the first time that I've heard about in anybody's career. age discrimination. And I don't know if it's age discrimination in your own mind or if it's actually age discrimination. And so it's interesting to me because
it's actual age discrimination.
there's actual age discrimination. So if somebody
absolutely.
so being I talk a lot about being a female versus, because I always have this question about being a female and your culture of origin, how's that help you or hurt you? It's my basic question, and I will ask you. Age is never, feminism, being a female, being a woman,
Right.
being a woman of color, which is even more marginalized
Yep.
than being a woman.
For sure.
Those are the things that are passionate to my heart. This is so, if I seem a little flabbergasted and stunned, it is because ageism has not been a conversation for me. So, and we talked about what we were going to do, and ageism wasn't part of our conversation.
No.
So I am a little bit, I want to talk about this.
I want to surprise you.
Thanks. Yes. That's what comedians do, right? That's their thing, is to surprise you. Surprise. Are you okay talking about this?
Yeah,
Okay,
of
good,
course.
because I have questions now. All of a sudden, I'm like, what the hell? So, when men age, when men are in their 50s, they're distinguished. They've come into their own. You have to be an older male to be a president. These are things that happen for men. What I am hearing you say is you are at the perfect age in your 50s to be a mature male. That's the perfect age.
Oh.
Is it
see,
different
here's
when
another
you're a female?
I think it's a little bit different. It's different all along your career, being a female, being a person of color, being having a disability versus being a white male.
Okay.
But the over 50 thing, interestingly, at least in my experience, affects men and women virtually the same.
Wow.
Yes. Now, a man may have been able to advance further, in his 30s and 40s than a woman because of, bias and discrimination and privilege.
Privilege.
But after 50, what I'm seeing is, and you'll talk to a lot of men who are in their 50s and lose their jobs, and they will tell you absolutely there is age discrimination for them as well. It's just this weird notion that if you're over a certain age, you're not as valuable. And
I'm grateful that we're having this conversation because it's a new conversation. I think
Yeah.
new is good. You've got all the knowledge. You have critical thinking skills that come with age that are valuable, that a 20 or 30, even into 40s,
Right.
don't have. Our brains have calmed down. Our egos have stepped away a little bit.
which is huge.
Yes, because then you can
removing
think.
ego is about 90% of it.
And that
to
at
being
50,
effective, yes.
I don't know about you, but for me, about 50 was when she kind of stopped saying, "You're awful, you're ugly, you'll never amount to anything." She just
being your
my
inner
ego.
voice.
Yes,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
ego.
your ego,
Yeah.
right.
And so that makes it so that I feel like I can do more, and I can be more, and I can be bigger, and I can be better
Yes.
as I age. And I thought,
And that's so true. And that is why I have utter gratitude for the fact that I have bumped up against a wall at the phone company. Because I would keep going. Except I'm now like, wait a minute, this isn't right. And I am having to really think about what it is I want to do and what sparks me, what is my passion. And it is not being a lawyer for the phone company.
I don't understand. Not being a lawyer for the phone company?
Imagine that. Imagine that. So I have a lot of gratitude for this wall.
Okay.
Because it's gonna force me to go a different direction.
So,
And so
we know traveling is your passion.
traveling, always traveling.
So I have a friend who calls her corporate career, and this is really a corporate thing. I'm really learning that corporate is different than entrepreneur. I'm
Oh,
more
so
entrepreneur,
different.
so
Yes.
my time is my own. I don't rent it out to anybody else.
Right.
I do crazy projects for my 52nd birthday like this. I mean, it's
Which is awesome.
yes,
It's really.
But nobody rents my time.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
leasing myself to anybody.
Right.
And corporate world is a different entity. I'm learning that.
Yeah.
So now that you're aging in a corporate setting, and this is what I was getting at, these golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
The term golden handcuffs I've heard with a lot of people who want to do something different, but they're paid so well in the corporate community, they've got what they call golden handcuffs. So are you going to be able to release yourself from the golden handcuffs and travel?
I have a plan.
Okay.
And it doesn't involve quitting working. I do love being a lawyer.
Okay.
And so I do want to do something different for perhaps a more nimble, fun, interesting company. But at the same time, I'm nurturing my writing. You'll be happy to know I'm entering a humor writing contest later this year.
Okay, you guys, if you don't know her, you really have to follow her fucking on Facebook.
But they can't if they don't know me. Because
That's right. Yeah, the private thing.
Yeah.
But so good humor writing
Yeah.
because you keep me entertained.
Well, so the essay I'm working on and submitting to this contest is called Panic at the Costco. And I don't know if you remember this story, but I knocked out my front tooth a long time ago and ended up they've had to pull the tooth, so I have no front tooth. It's been 2 years. We're working on that. But I chew a lot of gum while I'm driving, and I have to take out my little fake flipper tooth, and I went to Costco for gas.
Gas.
And-
She's got so many gas stories. You really should write about your gas
Yes.
stories.
I have driven away with the gas hose still in my car.
More than once. Yeah, more than once. Usually I tell people how long I've known somebody, and I guess I forgot that. So I have
Yes,
known you for a couple of
long
years,
time,
so I
long
get to
time.
follow the stories, yes.
Anyway, I decided I would tidy up my car, and I threw out trash, all these gum wrappers, and I drove away and realized I'd thrown my tooth away. Yeah. And so I had to go back and dig through a trash can
Costco
full of
garbage.
trash at the Costco gas station. I had the whole thing emptied out, and people were like, "What is I'm wearing a leopard coat, digging through the trash."
This is your local attorney.
Found some really interesting things,
Really?
including a 23andMe test kit.
Oh. They didn't want to do
And
it.
guess where the tooth was?
In the 23andMe test
No,
kit?
at the very bottom.
Of course it was.
In a pool of coffee and God knows what.
A latte
Disgusting,
land. Ah,
But,
you found it.
and I wrote it, I stopped, pulled into the Costco parking lot, parked, and wrote the story.
Wrote the story. You're very
Because
good.
that's my art.
It is your
Yeah.
art.
and
I
it
would
just
agree.
comes out, so.
I would agree. I mean, one of the things I have always loved, even with your, so fun corporate job.
Yes.
And you owning a business where you're healing and helping people every day. But really my favorite part is following your comedy stories. I mean, you're the
Thanks.
comedy of life.
Thank you.
You really take the shitty things like digging through a garbage, and you're able to switch it around, right? And say, I am a real, live human being
Right.
that deals with this shit, and so are you. Let's laugh
Oh.
about it.
So many people don't have their front tooth.
Yeah, I
Who
know.
knew?
I do. I know. So I know you're not the only
Yeah,
female
right,
attorney that is
right.
missing a tooth.
Right.
I have
Yeah.
had to help because there's this stuff you get. Another local famous entrepreneur in Seattle is also missing a tooth, not just female attorneys. And there's a thing you can get on Amazon. So he had his made, and it just wasn't working from the dentist. And so then he got this stuff on Amazon that, I don't know, you heat up or whatever, and you push it, you make it the size you want, and you push it in.
No way.
Yes. So when
I need to go
another
look
friend,
that up right now.
another friend of mine with a granola bar, and then a lot of television going on because of their position with a broken tooth, I was like, okay, there's a thing, let's find it. So then I contact my other friend who's missing a tooth and has TV media coverage.
Right.
What's that stuff you use? Got the name of it, got it very quickly, got another tooth made out of this Amazon stuff. So there is something, I will tell you. When we're done here,
Yeah.
we'll find out what it
Okay.
is. And for all of you people who are missing a tooth and need to know what that Amazon stuff is, it just private message me because I can't remember the name right now. But you're not the only one. But what I love is that the other two people would never talk about the fact that you're looking at a fake tooth. You are open and honest, and it makes
Yeah.
it real. It makes us humans be
Yeah.
comfortable with being human,
Yes.
because the human experience is not all
Life is funny.
fucking funny. And when you write about it well, it's really funny.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got an essay going out to,
Irma Bombeck, it has a contest every 2 years.
okay.
She's no longer alive, of
Right.
course, but it's
Yeah.
her writing school.
Okay.
And so that's what's coming up.
Oh, and then when will it be published? How will we know
Well,
about it?
I have to win first.
Yes. But can't you publish it without winning? I want to read
Well,
it.
so the way these contests work, a lot of them you can't have pre-published.
But after, if you
After.
don't win,
Yes,
then you can
I
publish.
go wild.
Are you
Yes.
going to self-publish any stuff? Are you
I
going
don't
to do
know.
anything?
I
You
don't know
yet.
yet. I don't know yet.
And are you going to do a stand-up comedy
I'm going to do a class.
You
Yes.
are.
Yes, I would like to do that.
I would like to go to your, where they do the show at the end of the school.
Uh-huh.
And you go, my girlfriend, we had a 50th birthday party here last night, and she
Right.
did like the courses for 5 years, and we went every quarter to go watch her little recital.
So she did stand-up comedy?
No, she did
Oh.
tap, different,
Oh,
but
okay.
I would go to the recitals.
Yeah.
I want to go to your recital.
Okay, thank you. You're
Please.
on.
Yes, I would like to be there.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So the flow is a little different of this because your passion
Yes.
is different than your education and all the different things, and even your entrepreneurial adventure, your passion is
Which
different
is my
from
husband.
your husband's passion.
So I really understand when you say you're an entrepreneur. I am married to one, and it is so different. I am not an entrepreneur. I'm a work for the man kind of girl. He's an entrepreneur, and so while we co-own OsteoStrong, it's his passion.
Okay.
Wellness, helping people in a physical way, because breaking a hip is never a good thing.
No.
And bone density is something, especially the more sedentary our children get, the more fragile their bones are going to be because they're not building that bone density in childhood like we used to.
Okay.
Jumping over logs and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
So it's but it's an interesting relationship between the entrepreneur, and you guys work harder than anybody,
24/7.
anyone.
I mean, if you're,
have
yeah, it's,
never seen anybody work as hard as my husband.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you're not leasing your time, you own
Yeah.
your time. You're.
Changes a lot.
Yeah.
And he's so happy. He just is like, he comes home every day happy. Loves what he does.
Yeah. And you're gonna
And
love
I'm
what
gonna
you.
get there
It's gonna
too.
happen. We're all gonna be around
And the
you,
great thing about
supporting.
being married to an entrepreneur is he's all about do what you want to do what makes you happy, do what you're good at. He's totally supportive, so
Yeah.
that's nice.
And could you do what makes me happy too? Could you be a comedian?
I'll try. I'll work on it.
Yes.
You know, 'cause
You
I'm
already
over
are.
50, right?
Yeah,
I've run out of
50.
options.
You can, but you can you kick and stretch and
Yes.
kick like Sally O'Malley from Saturday Night Live? Because
Oh.
you're over 50, right?
Well, and if I did, it would be funny.
There you
So,
So normally I don't know if the audience knows how I do my interviews. So I did this 52 to get over the camera, actually, is why I'm doing it. And I follow because I realized I don't want canned questions. It's just not my thing. But I also want to have a flow. and I like the elements. So the, earth, wind, fire,
Vodka.
all the things. Yes. Vodka, not water. Yes. Fire, water. It's good. And the conversations and cocktails. So yes, the vodka. Your interview, so this flow that I do is the passion, which is the fire, and then the growth, which is the water, and then the air, which is the hard time, and then we go to earth, which is how can we find you. We really, because you've got so many varied interests and you're not passionate about your career or what you've chosen to get paid by, don't tell anybody. The phone company is boring to work for. So it's been fun to get to know you in a variety of ways. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, in my mind, where are we in this? Normally, right now, what we would come to is what have been your hardships with your passion. So,
Right.
if we were just gonna be the normal standard operating procedure, which you are not because you are a comedian, and
Yes.
comedians can't.
And we started with a staph infection.
We started with a staph infections, the best way to start. Like, yes. And then we, lost a tooth in the meantime, and all the
gas
things.
pump
Gas
and the
pumps
whole
and
bit.
the, yes.
Life is messy.
Life is messy. So usually we would get to life is messy about 3 times into it. We just have been doing life is messy the whole time. So
Where's the pain?
Where's the pain in your it's all painful, I
think,
guess.
Being somebody who loves to write but not having done the formal education
For writing.
recently for writing.
Because you are definitely a writer. I'm sure in law school you had to learn how to write.
I am a skilled writer, but when you start talking about being a real writer, holy cow, there's so much to learn and so much to do, like writing every day.
Right.
And so many people who are successful, excellent writers started when they were kids. And I didn't. I started in my late 20s, and all I've written basically is journals and a Christmas letter that is kind of famous. I don't know if you've ever received one of my Christmas letters.
Why haven't I gotten a Christmas letter?
I don't know, because I don't have your
I'm
address.
giving you my address.
Yeah. So I feel some regret about not having nurtured that earlier in my life, and then coming up against this being 55 and realizing that my options professionally are narrowing, and so I'm trying to figure out what is it I want to do. That's a blessing, but also a barrier, so figuring my way around that.
Right. So we talked about ageism. That was one of the things, and it's coming up again. We're talking about your age again. Would you, so we've got a variety of women at all different ages. What would you say to your 29-year-old self who has just, either you're in law school or you're just graduating from law school? What advice would you give you at 29 years old?
And I was a lawyer at 29. I was in a large firm, and when I joined, I thought I'd be there forever. I'm a very loyal person. I feel like I'm here for you, even if it costs me. I am going to move forward, and I guess I would say 2 things. One, your employer is not your friend, and they are not really trying to do the best things for you. They're trying to get as much out of you for as little as they can pay.
They're renting you,
And
right?
fair enough, that's capitalism, that's how it works. But if you think that they are caring about you and HR is your friend, they're not. And secondly, if you are in a career that you really love, 50 is a cliff. And if you aren't kind of on the path by the time you're in your 40s, you can't. I took the time out to be a single mom, and time flies. it's something to really pay attention to if it's something you want to succeed to. I didn't get the memo, and it wasn't until I was 50 that I was like, wait, something's really different, and it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Ageism is a real thing.
Yeah.
So would you say to your 29-year-old self, hey, darling, I love you, and you're an excellent writer, and you're funny as hell. Maybe start doing that a little bit more?
Absolutely, yeah.
So maybe nurture your passion? Would you tell yourself to nurture your passion a little more?
If you know what it is, I just feel like I kind of bumbled along. I really mismanaged my career and my passions. I just kind of went from thing to thing. And now I'm thinking about it and going, wow, I wish I had thought about this when I was 29. So I don't know if that's possible for everybody.
Well, 29, we're so, like, we have to assimilate into society, and what did our parents want, and, you know, what's going to make Auntie happy, and wouldn't our grandparents love...
The 29-year-olds today are amazing.
Working their asses off.
They're amazing.
Yeah, I had 31-year-old owns the Octopus, and she's opening 2 more bars. 31 years old. I was like...
They all slay me.
Jesus.
They do. I mean, people talk about millennials and how lazy they are. That is not my perception at all. I think they're just extraordinary people. And I don't know why they're so advanced. Maybe because of social media and the digital age. I don't know, but I was still playing Barbies when I was 29.
Yeah, my daughter. So I mean, I have a daughter that age, right?
Yeah.
And I have 2 daughters, but one is still in her 20s. The other one is on her career and cutting people open and taking parts out of them.
It's not in Mexico.
No, like down the street. Her dad was a firefighter, so gore, and it's not gore to her. It's just a human body. We just cut it open and take the things out that need to go.
Right.
And the other one is in school, business, blah, blah, blah. And she's doing her internship. And she looks at me and she says, you know, Mother, this job, when I'm done with my internship, pays, I'm not kidding, $250,000 a year.
Nice.
$250,000 a year. She's not 30. She's not 30.
That's more than I make.
$250,000 a year. Yeah. She's going into like cybersecurity or something.
Yep.
I was just
That's
like,
huge.
Wait, what? When I was your age, that was like 2 houses.
Exactly.
2 houses.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hear the millennial, the laziness, but I think there's really 2 schools. There's like maybe some that are not as motivated, and then there's some that are hyper motivated.
I haven't met any of them.
The non-motivated ones. I do own a bar.
Oh, okay. And I work at the phone company.
I do have to say, it's not millennial specific. I own a bar, so there are ages.
Oh, sure.
If they're here day drinking, it doesn't matter how old they are.
That's not career advancing.
It's just some kind of advancing. So, okay, so that was fun. Now, here's a question that I ask every woman sitting in my seat. Mm-hmm. Now, I will ask you, and I am not sure. I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm going to, I know, I want it to be under your title as an attorney at the phone company.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
let me put that hat on.
Put that hat on. So as a female and your culture of origin, I happen to know you're from Alaska.
Yeah.
And that's kind of wild, wild west, way out there.
Yeah.
So as an Alaskan and whatever culture came from Alaska, and you're a female, how has that helped you or hurt you in your industry?
Oh, that is so unique. It's less unique now than it was when I went to college and started looking for jobs, but that's just a really unique thing to be able to talk about, and that's always a plus. And I also grew up in a very non-traditional way. Surroundings, life, having to plug in our cars. This is way back in the day.
Really, I don't even understand what that means.
So
Plugging in your
cold.
cars?
It's so cold in Fairbanks that you couldn't park your car and go into the grocery store and come out and expect it to start. You have to plug it in. You just things
What do
like
you plug
that.
it
It's
into?
just-
What does that
they
mean?
have
Plug in your
outlets.
car.
They have outlets all in all the parking lots.
So, okay, wait.
Yeah.
You had a gas motor. We didn't have electric cars when
Right.
you were growing up. I know because we're the
Yes.
same age. We
Yes.
didn't have electric cars.
Yes.
So what are you plugging? What part are you plugging?
You're plugging the battery
Oh.
so that it doesn't freeze.
Freeze.
Yeah.
So then you can, I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, keeping it warm, putting a receiving blanket on it. I don't know.
You
What
can
does
do
that
that
mean?
too. Yeah.
Okay.
It's less, it used to get so cold when I was a child. I mean, I remember it being 70 below. It doesn't get that cold anymore.
Because of global warming.
Global warming.
Yeah, yeah. 70 below. I don't
Yeah.
even think I've been below. I mean, I'm from Seattle, and we had cold weather when I was
Yeah.
growing up. I loved this winter because we had snow.
Yes.
And I'm like, this
And
is
that
the way
was-
I grew
that was
up, you
great.
guys. This was normal
Yeah.
for us. And you're all freaking out because you're from California and you've never
Right.
seen it or something. I don't know.
It's
But I
fabulous.
grew up in Seattle, so we had snow.
Yeah.
But
But we
not
don't
70 degrees
anymore,
below.
Right. And so for me, anything below 10 below, so 10 below, 40 below, 70 below, it kind of all feels the same. It's fucking cold.
I can't imagine.
Yes.
What's your face and
Your face, your eyelashes freeze, but a lot of different things happen, like to the car you're driving. Tires, this is back when we had single wall tires. You'd park for a while and then come out, unplug your car and drive away. Well, your tires would have frozen flat at the bottom, right? And so you take off and it's like you're driving a Fred Flintstone car.
Oh, because of the
until they
the
warm
air.
up enough and they even out. Just crazy stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's crazy. Now, so educationally, you're up there in the wild, wild, wild west.
Yep.
In my mind, you've got 8 kids from the ages of, 5 to, 15.
Me?
Up there in the Wild West.
my-
Educationally, how did that,
It was huge.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people up there?
Well, when I was going through the school system was about the time the pipeline was being built, and so there was a huge population surge. A lot of people. I think there were 300 people in my graduating class.
300 people.
Well, also it was one of 4 high schools in the area.
Oh, okay.
So, not not tiny,
Right.
but not like Seattle
Right,
size.
right.
Yeah. And Seattle was like the Mecca.
Right.
We came to Seattle for everything.
Yeah, that's the Hawaii.
Yeah.
I always think like Seattle is for Alaska and Hawaii. We
Yeah.
are the kind
Yeah.
of city.
We're the capital.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
totally.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it has been so,
So
much
much
fun. It has been,
Yeah.
I am looking forward to reading more of your comedy.
Yes, I'll mail you my last Christmas letter.
Please, mail me your last Christmas letter. Yes. So now, if there's other people that have listened to you and they want to know more about what you do and your comedy, and as you do stand up and they want to follow you or do anything, is there any way anybody can do that? Is there a way to find you or?
Yeah, so I'm not as funny on Twitter, but you can find me on Twitter under Zeitgeist, like Zeitgeist, but
Okay.
Zeitgeist.
Okay.
Get it? And LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Cindy Hennessey under LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cindy Hoppner Hennessey.
Cindy Hoppner
Yes.
Hennessey. Lots of names, lots of passions.
Yes.
Or less than passions.
And once I know somebody, I'm happy to add them on Facebook. But as you know, I put some pretty personal stories on Facebook.
But they're funny personal stories. So I'm looking forward to watching stand up
Yes.
and reading some of your stuff where you are telling the world about, digging through garbage cans for your teeth and
You're motivating me. Thank you.
because you
Yes.
make me smile,
Yeah.
you make me laugh. I was like, I want you in my chair. I want you in my chair.
So sweet.
I,
Thank you.
and what the other thing I look forward to is hearing more about you eating popcorn at the phone company. You know, with my love of popcorn,
Right,
I can't help
right,
it. So
right.
I look forward to that.
Popcorn sisters.
Popcorn sisters,
Absolutely.
yay! So
Okay.
thank you for coming
Thanks for
today. I
having me.
appreciate it
Yeah, it's
very
really an
much.
honor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay,
All right, well,
let's
we
do
gotta
one more
finish
last
these awesome
cheers.
drinks.
Cheers. Okay,
That was
it.
fun.